What's up YouTube, Cardboards here, weekly Binder Talk episode 15. And today we're back at Marvel talking PMG again. Yes, the hot sauce in hobby, precious metal gems. Today's topic is slightly different. I'm going to discuss the difference from an investment standpoint of the three main PMG colors, i.e. the red, the blue, and the green. So stick around. So I recently did a similar video for sports cards entitled Gold, Silver or Cow. The same elements are drawn from that video, but I'll put it into a Marvel PMG context to let you guys in on what I think would be the preferred PMG color solely for investment purposes. Again, I stress the point for investment and not collection. When you collect something, you collect what you like and enjoy it, as there's a lot of other non-financial factors at play here, such as personal preference, the art, or emotions. In this video, I'm not going to address the specific characters in a PMG lineup, nor compare which sets of PMG you should invest in. We're discussing strictly on the differences between the colors and how it impacts your investment decision. So a quick refresher course on PMG. This mantra has been repeated a number of times over the course of my channel. Precious metal gems was first introduced in the sports card world back in 1997 and first translated to Marvel in its 2013 Flair Retro product. In 2013, there were three sets of PMGs, the green out of 10, the blue out of 50, and red out of 100. 2015 released the second wave of PMGs, which followed similar runs but added a one-of-one gold version. The 2017 Flair Ultra PMGs had all the four colors, but added a fifth color, which is the purple. That's number out of 5. Now, for investment, I will ignore the purple and gold, as you would expect prices on something so scarce will be out of reach for the general audience. And that's another number one rule when I want to consider a card for investment, i.e. who am I targeting to move this card to? And if the target audience is a very small percentile of the overall market, for example, high-end collectors, that's not usually a strategy I would normally get into. Okay, don't want to jump the topic here, so let's dive into the metrics of the main PMG colors. In general principle, the PMG green out of 10 will be worth 10 times of a PMG red, which is number out of 100, and the PMG blue out of 50 will be worth twice of a PMG red. Obviously, the equation is not always accurate, as we know prices are determined by demand and supply. So when you take a PMG green, there's always a high demand, but limited supply due to it being number out of 10. But the question begs, is it really in high demand? Well, if you had an opportunity to buy a PMG green Wolverine for $1,000, would you? Of course you would. What if it was $10,000? Some of you might just shy away, and some might think it's a fair deal or even a good deal. But then, what if it was $50,000? Not sure if I can see any hands around the room. When it comes to investing, you want to make sure the target market who is willing to pay a certain price will be there in the future before you invest in a certain card. So for the example of the PMG green Wolverine, Wolverine might be a top character, but it might be foolish if you decide to pay $40,000 today thinking that there's a lot of people who will be willing to pay $50,000 somewhere down the road. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just that the likelihood of that happening is very uncertain and it ties up a lot of capital on a single item. $40,000 is a lot of money for a piece of cardboard, even though it's a rare precious metal gem. So let's take a look at the opposite end of the spectrum at the PMG rates. Before the recent market boom, PMG rates were seen as ordinary and lacked the popularity due to its quote-unquote high population. 100 is not a big number, guys. I know cinemas that can fit 5 to 10 times that number of people who are fans of Marvel. I don't deny that the PMG rates are sort of like the entry-level PMGs, for people with smaller budgets who just want a slice of history, a piece of art, something nostalgic. I get all of that. But then again, are you a collector or investor? As an investor, you hear a lot of people on YouTube talking about scarcity, and scarcity does matter. And why is that? Well, if you had an item that was mass-produced, meaning it will be easily available at most times, which then prices will be rather stable, as at any given time, there will be a number of sellers putting up that item for sale, and likely trying to undercut one another in terms of price, which benefits a potential buyer. Of course, for those who are familiar with the base card phenomenon in the sports card world, then this assumption doesn't hold true all the time. But in the case of PMG Red, It is already serial number out of 100, which is an inbuilt scarcity. It is more rare than a random Marvel insert, surely, but it's 2 times less rare compared to a Pmg Blue and 10 times less rare compared to a Pmg Green. So recapping what I just said, Pmg Red is an entry-level Pmg. Comes in an affordable price point because of its print run, high enough to be above a regular mass-produced insert, but still very small compared to its Pmg brothers. Investing in Pmg rates are extremely liquid, and you have no trouble at all finding buyers to pay market price. Only problem is market price tends to be stable due to larger quantities available. And finally, let's jump into Pmg Blue. That's number out of 50. The print run is smack in the middle of the rare green and the mass red, which hints a number of things. It's either capturing the best of either worlds or the worst of them. Now, one statement is true and the other is false. And here is where my experience and my opinion comes in. Pmg Blue sits in a very unique space from an investor standpoint. It's rarer than Pmg Red. It's priced higher obviously, but not too high, and having 50 copies print run allow the right dose of liquidity and market comparables, which is critical for any investment decision. Coming back to the earlier Pmg Green Wolverine example, say if a copy was presented in the market today, it would be an educated guess of what the true market value would be, as the last one sold was either a long time ago or the data just simply doesn't exist. You might think $20,000 or $30,000 might be a good price to pay, but what is that based on? Whereas if you look at the Pmg Blue, there is starting to be a lot of comparative data that's available, which allow you to make better investment decisions and also be able to forecast better on future prices. Of course, condition, quality, or the grade of the card actually matters, but those are just ratios. A PSA 7 Doctor Strange Blue, has been on market for $37.50 for weeks now, while a raw copy was sold on auction at $2,900 and another one at $2,000 within, say I think it was about 30 days apart. Condition matters on each card, but you can see the close relation on each of these prices. Of course, you will find similar patterns when dealing with Pmg Red, but given that there is exactly half, the quantity available, which is for Pmg Blues, the Blues enjoy a better premium, being more scarce compared to the Reds. Now, I'm not against anyone who prefer to invest in entry-level cards. That's fine. But from my experience, returns are generally smaller and does take a lot more work because of the competition that you face. Of course, there are other investing strategies to circumvent this, but that's for another educational video for another day. In conclusion, if you want to be investing in Pmg, my pick would be the Blues. Full disclosure, I'm all in on the Blues as well, so this video is likely going to backfire and create a lot of competition to myself. But I'm an experienced investor and I know when not to overpay for a certain card. So I do strongly advise that you guys do plenty of research on prices and the market in general. Aside from PMGs, there are lots of plenty untapped options in the Marvel universe for you to invest in. But if you're deciding that Marvel PMG is the way to go for you, and if your budget permits, Blues out of 50 will be my choice. So if you guys like this video and found it very useful, do like and subscribe for more content in the future. I will be putting up similar videos, so do watch out for that. Thanks and have a great day.